Suddenly, we're yellow ink. The Octarians. Hey, you showed up. As soon as I saw you aimlessly wandering around the square, I knew you were the one. I'm Marie. I know you're probably a bit starstruck, but I need you to get over it. Yes, I'm that Marie. You know, from the Squid Sisters. You've never heard of me? For eel? Well, you obviously aren't very cultured, but you'll have to do. See, I've got a little thing I need some help with. By now you've heard that the great zapfish that powers Inkopolis Square is missing. Well, it's not just missing, it's been squidnapped by the Octarian menace. How do I know this? On the surface, I may just look like an absurdly talented pop star. But in truth, I'm Agent 2 of the new Squidbeak Splatoon, a secret society of heroes who save the world from Octarians. Now, I've been trying to keep an eye on the Octarians in my downtime, but I'm a busy girl. If only Callie was around to lend a hand. Ahem. I need you to go get the great zapfish back from the slimy Octarians. What do you say, are you in? So... I'll take your awkward silence as a yes. Welcome aboard. You are now Agent 4 of the new Squidbeak Splatoon. I even brought you a brand new hero suit as a signing bonus. And look at that, it fits like a glove. Not bad for an old hand-me-down. Now, let's go tear those Octarians limb from limb, from limb, from limb, from limb, from limb, from... Well, you get the picture. Oh yeah, the entrances to the Octarian realm are invisible, so you have to ink them to reveal them. Alright, we are now into the single-player campaign. If you see anything weird-looking, blast it with ink. Inking before thinking, I always say. So those who are not aware of the lore in Splatoon so far, the original game, instead of having Pearl and Marina as the pop idols slash newscasters for, you know, whenever you enter into the main hub, you had Callie and Marie, who were known as the Squid Sisters. They are cousins. And as the game's lifespan went on, there were a bunch of Splatfests, again, celebrations that would pit two teams up against one another. Whoever sided with Team A would go with Callie, and whoever sided with Team B would go with Marie. And inevitably, there was a final Splatfest for Splatoon 1 that was just picking between Callie or Marie. And it turns out Marie won. So, in reference to that, Marie is now the main focus of single-player in Splatoon 2. And with the news of Splatoon 3 just being announced, something similar happened there thematically. So, the final Splatfest of Splatoon 2 put Chaos against Order. And Team Chaos, which was Pearl's side, won. So, thematically in Splatoon 3, it looks post-apocalyptic, so it looks like Chaos has won overall. So the Splatfests actually do kind of, well, some of the Splatfests have some extra lore behind them, it seems. Or at least future lore, if that is even a thing. But yeah, this is Marie. She is an ex-pop idol and a secret agent. Over here we got, I don't even know what that is. Let's have a closer look here. It's cute, whatever it is. Alright, now I didn't do a good job explaining the controls before, but let me just give you a very quick explanation of what things do. Shoot with ZR, you'll shoot wherever your reticle is aimed, in front of your Inkling. The camera will, you know, pan around the Inkling, but as long as the reticle is pointing in direction, you'll shoot in that direction. Hold the button for sustained fire for a lot of guns. If you get close to something, then the reticle will put an X over it, which means you're able to hit it. You don't have a very visible ammo gauge, as you might notice, but if you look at the back of my Inkling, you'll see that the tank of ink is slowly depleting. So once it depletes all the way, that means you can't shoot. It gives you the low ink heads up. Ink will slowly refill over time, but the best way of refilling your ammo is to swim through your ink. You can do this by holding the ZL button. Swimming through your ink means that you also move faster, and you are technically invisible to enemies. But an observant Splatoon player will usually notice the splashing around that is going on here. Of course, while you're out on dry land, you are just a squid. You cannot swim anywhere, and you're kind of actually slower than walking around. You can tap the bottom face button, which is B, on the Switch Pro Controller and the Joy-Cons to jump. There's also use with the X button, but that's only in online play. And the Y button, as demonstrated in the tutorial, you center the camera behind wherever the Inkling is currently standing. It also helps reset your controller. So if you're playing with gyro controls, and you want to get into a more comfortable position. So, like, right now I'm holding it in a comfortable position, but let's say I need to, like, hold the controller up for some reason and hold it there for a more comfortable position, but I don't need to be aiming up all the time. Just tap the Y button, and it'll center behind the Inkling, and now my gyro controls are adjusted to fit my new posture. But then again, I can always just put it back down on my lap like this, and then I just tap the Y button and we're all good. Let's see what else. Yeah, we can do this. This is your sub-weapon, which by default is a splat bomb. It's a little triangular bomb that explodes after about a second. It does cost a lot of your current ink tank, as you can see. Right now, they don't really have a whole lot of use. They're just a decently long-range projectile that allows you to do damage while you're repositioning yourself. And it also, in online play, will allow you to deter your enemies. Later on in single player, we'll actually have access to more sub-weapons than just the splat bomb, but we'll see those eventually. Right now we're doing a little bit of a mini-game, just following around this balloon and shooting whichever new ones show up. Of course, you can jump while you are in squid form, too, so... Oh, that's another thing. You can climb up walls by shooting walls and then, shooting walls and then jumping over to the ink while holding the squid form. There we go. We pop that open and we've unlocked a sunken scroll, which is hidden lore. Well, actually, not really. This is just a sticker that's showing off Octo Canyon. More like a souvenir. But the actual sunken scrolls will be things that we'll be seeing in a little bit. So here we have what's referred to as enemy ink. Obviously, if you step in it, you're going to be moving a little bit slower. And you see that the outer rims of the screen right now are a little purpley. And that's basically your damage indicator. There's no visible damage indicator in this game outside of how weird the border looks. You don't take a whole lot of damage by staying in enemy ink. But it's definitely, you move very slow. You have taken some damage at this point, so anyone who is still shooting at you with enemy ink could probably finish you off really quick. But the good news is that your own ink will overlap enemy ink, and then once that's over and done with, you're free to walk around or even swim around just as normal. Let's see, what else? Anything else I should point out right now? L does nothing. The right stick does nothing outside of looking around. Oh yeah, maybe I can open up the options menu and show that you can set the motion sensitivity and the right stick sensitivity. I'm gonna bump these up slightly because I'm used to them being a little bit different. But you can play this however you want in terms of controls. I might up this a little bit more. So if you're big into right stick aiming, then by all means go for that. But I've always been playing Splatoon with the motion sensitivity because it actually feels very natural to me. And yeah, I am satisfied with how it behaves. Alright, now I will say in advance as well, I apologize if you get dizzy from my own camera movements. I don't know if it will be dizzying to people, but if it is, I am sorry in advance. Now, time to get started with the single-player stuff. There's a transparent, it looks like a tea kettle right there. Shoot it enough times, and then it'll expose itself. And now we're going into Stage 1 in the Octo Valley. Return of the Octarians, rescue the Zapfish. So the single player in Splatoon 2 is level-based. You get tossed into a level, and it's all basically just go from point A to point B. Press ZL to enter squid form and swim through that ink. Remember to cover up enemy ink with your ink to move through it. These are fish eggs, I guess. You probably know this, but you can press ZR to shoot ink from your weapon, obviously. You can either shoot the eggs on the ground in order to pick them up, or you can just walk over to them yourself. If you hide in the ink, then these Octarians will not be aware of where you are. You can also hide behind cover. You can jump through a squid ring, and you get some extra eggs. The eggs are basically your currency. Not a lot of cover here. Hide in the ink and toss a bomb. You can distract this guy. If you go slow enough, he can't see your splashes, too, so that's a good way of distracting him. Pop open these crates. In some instances, you can... Oh, hang on. Well, we kind of missed our drop down initially, these onion rings. But we can climb back up this wall, just like that, and drop right down. And there we go. We get some free monies. The orange crates will pop out more eggs for you. But the default crates will not. I believe that will stay true even going forward. Let's see if we can pop that all down. There we go. There we go. I may have let that balloon go. Clear out enough enemies, and then a jump point will show up. These jump points are only in single player, by the way. There is something called the squid jump, which, if you're familiar with the Inklings, only in Smash Brothers. The squid jump is a tool in multiplayer that allows you to jump to either your spawn point at the beginning of the map or to other players. And they translate that here in single player by having you jump over, or jump onto those jump points and just go higher into the level. Or at least parts of the level that you are not usually allowed to go to otherwise. Got some more Octarians here, and they'll be shooting us with purple ink, and, you know, obviously don't get hit by too much purple ink, otherwise you'll die. There's our key that we're looking for. Now, each stage also has 2 collectibles, as you can see up at the top right there next to the egg counter. One is the Sunken Scroll, and the other one I don't remember the name of right off the top of my head, because it's been a while since I've actually played this. But know that there are 2 collectibles in each stage that you can grab, or at least in most stages. And once you grab them, then you will have 100% completion in every stage if you do that. But don't feel obligated to go for 100%. I will be, but again, don't feel obligated. What I picked up earlier was armor, so now I can actually sustain a fatal hit before I go down, which is also only something for single player. So keep that in mind if you're going into multiplayer with the idea that, oh yeah, everything in single player will have some bearing in multiplayer, but no. It's more like the opposite. Things in multiplayer will translate into single player a lot easier. I'll go ahead and grab these. Why not? I'm also still keeping an eye out, albeit a quick eye out, not necessarily a detailed one, for any of the collectibles. Also, this guy might need to be distracted by tossing that over there. And then, there we go. Let's hop on up here, paint the wall. Wait, before I go on, I do want to see something. There's something here, and there it is. There's one of the collectibles. Just gonna have a brief look around. I think I'm good. So let's head on over here. Oh, I missed that. Don't look down, or do, whatever. Pop these balloons. Yeah, I hate balloons. Pro tip, you can slip through grates in squid form. So, this is true. You can slip through grates. Just be careful whenever you are in a, on a level where you probably shouldn't drop down through the grates. Because sometimes there will be pits, and you don't really want to be there. So over here we have a sunken scroll, which, as I mentioned before, is something that exposes a bit of lore in the Splatoon universe. Splatooniverse, if you will. And, yeah, they have their own language. It doesn't really look like any sort of language we know of. But it looks like it's advertising some kind of, dish at a seafood restaurant, or maybe like a cafe. So yeah, now that we have the sunken scroll and the anchovy, whatever it might be, I'm good to just head off to the end of the stage. Now keep in mind that these Octarians, they can still shoot you and move around in your own ink, but if you submerge them in your own ink, then they have limited mobility. So like if they see you like this, they're going to be like this in their own ink. They're going to have a lot more mobility. So there we go. My best recommendation if you're having trouble with these guys is kind of just stay on the move if you can. Also, we have a special move here. Grab it, and now we have access to a special move by clicking in the right face button. You can target as many people as you can, or up to 4 people, with the Tentamissiles. You'll fire them off, and they'll automatically home in on everybody that you have targeted. We got a key. Let's pop this open, and we should, yep, have another Tentamissile ready to go. Looks like you can actually target up to 5 people. In online matches, you only have access to matches against 4 people, though. So you'll never have an instance of being able to target more than 4 in an online match. Alright, we've gotten all the keys. Let's open everything up here. There's the jump point, and there's some more eggs for us. Let's jump. And here we're at the end of the stage. There it is. Bust in and grab that Zapfish. Shoot the barrier surrounding the Zapfish and just jump at it. We did it. You also get bonus eggs if you end up at the end with some armor. Here we go. We got 100% on that level. And here's some lore. A shockwave struck while one young lady was performing at the recent youth folk singing contest. Those are different phonemes I was using, doing damage to the venue. Fortunately, no one was injured. Great work, Agent 4. Inkopolis may not be doomed after all. We'll just go ahead and grab some of these. Ooh, multiple balloons. Multiple balloons! Strike one balloon down and 2 more will spawn in its place. There we go. Hi, Marie. I just can't forgive the Octarians for what they've done. So Octarians, for those wondering, are actually different species to Octolings. Or at least Octolings and Octarians were both born from the same, like, general idea. But Octarians are a little bit more, I guess, hive-minded. And Octolings evolved similarly to Inklings. Octarians are evil. Octolings are not inherently evil.